Wire to Wire.
With Diesel and Cole Bryson.
On the Fan Upstate.
A little baseball on this Thursday. Diesel, I hope you are ready. I hope the Tolos are ready as well, because it's going to be a fantastic night, a fantastic evening, maybe a little damp here in Sparkle City after some heavy rain this morning and some more rain forecasted to come through the area later this evening. But welcome to Wire to Wire. He's Diesel back in the Ingles Market Studios. We trade places today. I'm on location at Fifth Third Park in Spartanburg. As I'm telling you what, man, we're set to be joined by Chad Comer, the manager here momentarily, Diesel. But what are you doing, Greenville? I mean, are you going to show up to the series? Are you going to get off the bus? I mean, Spartanburg's brand new. Be 2-0 already, man. How about them burgers?
It's kind of pathetic, honestly, with a franchise that's been around as long as it has in the Greenville Drive, pride in baseball, all those great Red Sox prospects who are working their way up to the system, and they're getting beat by a little old startup in the Spartanburg.
I love it, man.
It's embarrassing.
I absolutely love it. I hope it continues. So the very first game was a 1-0 win for the Spartanburgers over the Greenville Drive on Tuesday. Last night, the Greenville Drive were pretty good offensively. It was 3-3 for a good while. The Hub City Spartanburgers walked it off. Diesel final score 4-3 last night. And look, it's not just these two games. This is a Spartanburgers team that's playing good baseball. They won one game to start the season off at Aberdeen. The very next week, they won, four times in 1 week. So you got 5 wins there against Bowling Green. They got 3 more. So 10 wins already for this baseball team. And then tonight, it's Friday, Saturday, Sunday for the Spartanburgers against the Greenville Drive before they take a trip to Rome, Georgia. But, man, what a great day it is. April, we will work on the audio on the stream momentarily, so just stand by on that. We'll try to get that fixed for you. Always appreciate you letting us know. And you can watch the show live on Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube. But as we're live today, Diesel, and momentarily being joined by Chad Comer, the storyline today is the NFL Draft. The NFL Draft happening here in just a few hours from right now, as we've spent a lot of time leading up to the draft discussing what we think might happen, and here we are. Are you ready?
Oh, man, thank God that we are here, right? We actually, in 24 hours' time, now you won't be here to talk about it. We won't get to talk about it again together until Monday, and the entire draft will be completed at that point. But finally, we have something real to talk about, right? We're going to start having trades coming down the pike here in the next couple of hours. Maybe we'll get some news of our first pre-draft trade while we're on the air today. That would be great. Give us something awesome to talk about. But, it's at some point, you've said everything there is to say about the draft. Nobody is going to be making a huge jump up the board today. Nobody's going to be making huge falls down the board.
We'll shoot some ladders on this show today, but at some point you get tired of talking about it. It's like, come on,
let's lace up the helmets, let's lace up the shoes and go hit somebody.
Absolutely. And Diesel momentarily being joined by Chad Comer, the manager of the Hub City Spartanburgers. Coach will get you on this headset right here and be all ready to rock and roll. Can you hear me okay? Chad Comer, the manager of the Hub City Spartanburgers. You get the rain out of the forecast, man?
Yeah, I think we're good. I was looks like there's some stuff out there a little ways away, and just more than anything would be, does anything pop up?
Yeah.
So, but right now it looks good to go.
Diesel's back in the Ingles Market Studios, and we appreciate you guys allowing us to be here today. You hadn't figured out a way to move baseball indoors yet to avoid these kind of things?
Right, I know. I was like, we're here. We have this beautiful park. We could have just built a dome, and then it would be good to go. But now we have, and I think, once again, though, the nice thing, it drains so well. The field's in such great shape that as long as it's not raining while we're going, we should be able to play baseball a lot. So
Coach, now that you're 2 games into the series against the Drive, and coming up on series game number 3 in this series,
How do
you as a coach try to coach inconsistency from night to night? I mean, we've seen this team like
we talked about last week, on score 1 runs, 2 runs, and sometimes you see him score 15 runs. Maybe that's the ultimate baseball managerial question. How do you build inconsistency? But what is your method for trying to get these guys hitting on a consistent level and fielding on a consistent level night in and night out?
Yeah, I think we've seen some really good arms from Greenville, at least also just, in the starters and in the bullpen, like, good velo, good secondary stuff. And so it makes for tough nights with the hitters, and it's just part of the baseball game. But more than anything, I think it's like when the opportunities present themselves, can we capitalize on them? Whether it's a situational hitting opportunity, the base running opportunities that come up, like being able, we've had 2 nights where we've had double steals, first and third situations that have allowed us to score some runs, but just capitalizing on those whenever we get them, I think is the biggest thing more than anything, because, the 15-run games are sustainable, and then at the same time, like 0, 1, 2-run games, you don't go through those the whole year. It'll come around, and it's just kind of finding that level ground. What's the one thing we can do on a night in and night out basis, and that's like capitalizing those situational hitting opportunities, and then on the bases when they present themselves.
How about the extra juice this week with the other team in the upstate being in town?
Yeah, it's awesome. Like, the fans have been great once again. Like, it's a lot of fun to play at your home park when they're all into it every single night like they've been. And then, like you said, getting to play Greenville, who's right up the road, it's just been a great atmosphere.
Chad, have you been able to, feel the difference in how the fans have reacted to this drive series versus the series last week against the Hot Rods? I mean, does it feel like there's a little extra hate and animosity in the crowd?
Yeah, I wouldn't really call it, the hate and animosity, but I'd call it more like, hey, the fans are out here to support us. It's been Spartanburg True out here sitting there rooting us on every single night. Like, 5th inning, they get it going, I think, with one of the promos, and it gets loud in here, and they're throwing out T-shirts, and, at that point in the game, it's such good energy for those guys, and, the players have answered the call with it, and so it's just been a lot of fun to see the fans show out night in and night out with us.
We get into what happened last night, the Tuesday, just a 1-0 final score, a really close game. As there were some situations throughout the game where Greenville had a few opportunities to get some offense going. You talked about them having some good arms, but how about the Hub City Spartanburgers' arms on Tuesday night pitching the shutout?
Yeah, it was awesome. First shutout of the year. Leandro Lopez at the front end of it. I think he strikes out 8 in his 5 innings of work, just attacking the zone. And that's been our big focus this week is like, hey, pitchers, first pitch strikes, get ahead of these guys and put them away when you have an opportunity. And they've done that. Our bullpen has been really good throughout the year. They've kept us in those tight games down the stretch. But, more than anything, the starting pitching this week, it's been good to see. It's been good to see them on the attack. And so it's helped keep us right in these games.
Coach, it's like asking a football fan, do you like offense? Do you like defense? For you as a manager, and you may say, I'll take wins however we can get them. But what style of play fascinates you the most? A pitching duel or a game where everybody's just knocking the ball all over the yard?
Yeah, it's a tough one. It's a lot of fun whenever you're just banging it all around the yard and, you score 12, 13 runs in a game. Those are always great. But like I said, the whole year you're not going to do that. So I think at the end of the day, for me, like what we try to pride ourselves on is like pitching and defense. Like if that can show up every single night, we're going to be in a spot to win baseball games and develop. So I think like more than anything, those are the things we harp on in our game reviews and the talks we have as a group is like controlling the controllables and night in. If we can bring like really good pitching and solid defense around it, we're going to be in good spots.
This is the 3rd full week, Coach, that you guys have been in play. What have you learned from the team? Because, in minor league baseball, they show up. You have to get to know them as individuals, right? Know what makes them tick. What have you learned through these first 3 full weeks of games that you feel like you didn't know maybe 3 weeks ago?
You always wonder what the dynamic of your club is going to be. Like, how do they respond to you get punched in the face for 5 runs or 3 runs early in the game? Like, what are you going to do? And I think we saw it in that Greenville or the Bowling Green series where we went behind early in the series a few games and came back and won them. This team's got grit and tenacity, like the grit they show on a night in and night out basis. Like it's been really fun to see, and the team comes together in that regard. Like they're all pulling for one another, and just the way and fire they play with. Well, if we make an error, if we give up a hit, a homer, a few runs, like the guys still continue to play, and the atmosphere and the energy in the dugout is just that, like never out of the fight. And so it's been really cool to see.
Talking to Chad Comer, manager of the Hub City Spartan Burgers. You were talking about how good your pitching staff is, and they shut Greenville out on Tuesday night. Who on your staff has the this is going to be a hard question, I'll put you in a tough spot, has the single nastiest individual pitch on your staff?
Yeah, that's tough because they all have, the metrics on them. Every guy's got a different specialty in that regard. But like Leandro Lopez, the breaking ball is something special whenever he's landing it. And I think it was on display the first night of this series. So it's been good to see. I mean, we've got multiple guys that, upper 90s, 99, that kind of stuff that they can touch. So, but, especially in this series, like Leandro Lopez, like the slider and those pitches that he was throwing for his off-speed ones in that game were really special to watch.
The majors, you have guys on your staff who are watching the team coming up while you're playing this series. I'm sure minor league ball, that's a little bit different, right?
Yeah, for sure. We do, a lot of our pre-series stuff on the off day. Leading up to it because we play the 6-game sets and like really just trying to focus on like be where your feet are. Like all the other games are out of your control until you're playing that team. So, once Sunday gets here, we play that game and then kind of look forward to the next week and see what's going on. Obviously, we're coordinating all the travel, things like that as well. So using that Sunday, afternoon after the game to kind of decompress, get ready. And then on that Monday, our off day, if we're not traveling, sitting there and kind of diving into the team we're facing the following week. Obviously, you look at the scores at the end of the night, kind of see what everybody's been doing, where they're at. You have a general idea of like the type of baseball they're playing, but really dive in on that Monday.
Talking to Chad Comer, Hub City Spartan Burgers. Philip Moore on our stream really opened up an interesting question for me. Cole was asking you the other day about steakhouses and burger joints, and it's probably been a short turnaround. You might not have a chance to get over to Ike's, but he talks about beer. Have you found a local upstate beer that you think is really special?
I really haven't yet. Haven't had time. Yeah, I haven't had time. It was actually my wife and I, we actually got to just go grab a bite to eat the other night at a local spot around here. But aside from that, we haven't really got a chance to get out much and explore a ton. It's just been from traveling at the beginning of the year to now being home for the 2 weeks at this homestand. It's just haven't really had a ton of time. We'll be off this Monday and then head up to Rome on Tuesday. So have a little bit of time there, but no, I haven't had a chance.
You are right around the corner from RJ Rocker, a great brewery right around the corner.
Looks like there's a golf simulator over there too, I think. Yeah, it's
Streaking Birdies, I believe. Yeah. Is that right?
Yeah, something
right around the corner. I'm not a golf guy, so I'll let you know. Maybe Ian's a golf guy.
Me either. The guys love to go out and play 18 on the off days and enjoy it, but me, it's just not my forte.
Take a shotgun.
Yeah, exactly.
Let me ask you this. I've been to 4 or 5 games as a fan, and a lot of fans are asking different questions. I've heard this one several times. When all these players come in, and the coaches, but mainly the players, where are they housed? Have you find their own or no?
No, so with the new CBA that came out, the teams provide the housing for the players, which is awesome. They're doing first class with that kind of stuff, and the Rangers take pride in getting these guys into good places. And we're actually here at an apartment complex, and the guys live together, either a 2-bedroom or a 3-bedroom, but fully furnished, everything like that. So they take care of them. It's kind of a long way from when I played, and you got 6 guys in one apartment that's 2 bedrooms, and everybody's sleeping on air mattresses or a couch. And then if you have family come in, that person gets to have like a room, and then everybody else has to stay in there. Just all those different things, trying to make it to where you're able to have a little bit of space, but at the same time, conserve some money in that regard.
Chad, we were talking the other day about how hard it is as a manager to deal with players coming in and out. And you said, I think the word you used was it was a blessing to have great players coming through your team and then moving on up to the AA level. But you know, one of the hard things about it from a fan perspective is you start to get to know these guys, and then poof, they're gone, and you may not hear their name again until they make the major leagues, if ever again. What does Hub City Spartanburg? What do they want to do to help fans keep track of the players that come through Spartanburg? Because to me, it's always great to say, hey, this guy's moved up to the AA level. He's moved up to the AAA level, but he started right here.
Yeah, exactly. I think just the more we continue, like what Hub City has done such a good job of is promoting our players. Like I know I don't have any social media whatsoever, so I don't really get to see all the posts and everything that everybody's talking about. But, you know, the way they promote our players and on a night in and night out basis, like I'm sure as we continue to move guys up, they'll continue to update them on what they're doing, where they're at, all those types of things. You know, there's been cool things I've seen in the past. Like look where they are now, and like just little posts that have, hey, how their snapshot is in AA, how their snapshot is in AAA, things like that. Because it's pretty cool. Like a lot of these guys, their first starts are in Spartanburg, so you know that time when that first Spartanburger makes it to the big leagues would be something really special.
Coach, we appreciate your time, man. Good luck tonight. Let's go. Me being from Spartanburg, I'm the one trash talking. Let's make it 3 in a row tonight.
Yeah. Sounds great. Thank you.
Chad Comer, the manager of the Hub City Spartanburgers, always appreciate his time. Thanks to Ian as well for hooking that up. 4 o'clock, we'll have Tyson Jeffers, right? Tyson Jeffers, the general manager of the Hub City Spartanburgers, coming up at 4 o'clock. Diesel, weather, you know, looks pretty good right now. It's cloudy, obviously, as it's been across the upstate all day. Was it 3:15 right now? I mean, look, it's almost summertime, and this is the weather in South Carolina during the summertime, right?
Hey, take those cool days when you can get them, because here in about a month you're going to be wishing for these 70-degree days. When it's 80, 85, 90 degrees out there, you're just saying, man, I wish I didn't talk trash to this 70-degree day. I'd love to have one of those back. Wire to wire. Go ahead.
Well, I'm sorry. I was just going to bring up something JD said on the stream. A really interesting point. I was thinking about this the other day, JD, and I'm glad you brought it up because I'd forgotten about it. But JD says, for the record, Texas has a much better farm system than the Boston Red Sox, who is, you know, the Greenville Drive affiliate, Diesel. But he says that's my opinion. That's why the Burgers are beating the Sox. That is an interesting point because Texas, under Bruce Bochy, who just took over a few years ago, they have done a lot of work with their farm system. I would compare it to what the Braves did back, 7, 8, 9 years ago when they kind of redeveloped their entire farm system to get the majors up to par, and they got a World Series out of that. That's a good point, and maybe that's not a sign of things to come, Diesel, but maybe that's where we are right now, that the Rangers organization's it's pretty good right now.
On the other side of the break, we had the offensive profiles for you yesterday on some of the top prospects out of the NFL draft. In the next segment, we'll play you some of the NFL defensive draft profiles. What are the experts up at Odyssey Corporate saying about Abdul Carter and Jordan Birch, Will Johnson, and others? We'll hear that next on the Fan Upstate.
On the news topics, the IWORD
Those in the stream, 105 of you. Is the audio okay? I'm going to work on it during
There
this
shall
commercial
storms
break.
for this afternoon with cloudy skies and
How it sounds.
any chance for storms
Let
towards
me
the
take my phone and see
Friday
what it sounds like.
for storms on 76 on Saturday, Sunday.
Oh, I
And
hear
the
what you're saying.
meteorologist
Yeah, let's try something. Let's try something.
Upstate. Currently,
Isn't it weird that every single location we have to do something different?
Wire to wire with Diesel and Cole Bryson.
BB, how's the audio? Weigh in on who won the 5 o'clock fight. Text the show 71300. Okay. Start your text. Can you hear me right now or no? Texter says, cook your eggs with A1. You're welcome. Never done that.
How does A1 that's heated in a pan taste?
I don't know if I'd hate that. Michael in Simpsonville says A1 bold, way better. I have no idea what he's talking about.
It's a flavor of A1.
You're kidding.
It's more A1 than A1.
And I've never known about this.
We have a follow-up. Texter says, whip the A1.
Still garbled, you said?
No, I don't know. That's going to be a weird color. Ooh, huh? Ooh.
Upstate. Our morning jolt of sports.
Hey, Tolos, if you got me, I'm sitting over here in the studio wondering if my audio sounds good or if it sounds like total bun.
Jim Harbaugh had a recurring guest role on a television show that I did watch religiously in the early 90s. Do you know what it was?
Cheaters.
No.
So you're his dog, but then... Okay, Steven says, so they have to both
It's news. Play the Ron Brown Show. Now morning 6 to 10 on the Fan.
The Fan upstate. You'll hear the radioactive IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax relief advocate is different. CRA is here to tell you if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-6986. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start.
They're in commercials because utility is on. And if utility's on, you can't hear if it's on, they can hear the commercials. If it's off, you can't hear the commercials.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Oh, it's because our thing is muted right now. I gotcha.